Midgard, the human essence between the mortal and the divine, a journey through the realm of men. Introduction: Midgard is the border between the physical and the supernatural. Midgard is the epicenter of human experience, and more than just a physical realm, it is also a spiritual symbol. The name Midgard refers to something surrounded in the middle or protected in the middle, highlighting its strategic position in Yggdrasil, the world tree. The location of Midgard reflects the duality of humans, who are surrounded by both divine and chaotic forces. With Muspelheim and Niflheim at the extremes and the realms of gods, elves, and giants around it, Midgard is the cosmic buffer zone, where life flourishes despite constant threats. To the gods, Midgard is a curiosity, a place where they can observe human courage and weakness, perhaps reflecting what is most human within themselves. In Midgard, the drama of living, aging, and dying takes place under the watchful eyes of the deities, who see in each mortal being an opportunity to observe how they themselves might be, were they vulnerable to time and death. The creation of Midgard, Ymir and the cycle of death and rebirth. The creation of Midgard is a myth of violent transformation and deep symbolism. Ymir, the primordial giant, represents chaos and raw life. When dismembered by Odin and his brothers, Ymir gives shape to the human world, and his parts are organized to create order. This act of dismemberment reflects the Norse view that creation requires sacrifice and transformation, and that order arises from destruction. Ymir's body does not disappear, it is transformed into something greater, which is then inhabited by humans and nature spirits. The waters surrounding Midgard were formed from Ymir's blood, and it is said that this liquid wall is both protective and threatening. The idea that the ocean is made from a divine being's blood gives Midgard a powerful and unsettling connection to the primordial past. Navigating these waters is therefore both an act of respect and a challenge to the very power that keeps Midgard safe. The mountains, made from Ymir's bones, represent the stability of the land. The stones, his teeth, are fragments of his fury turned to solidity. It is as if humans walk upon the very flesh of an ancient being, giving the land a sacred value and evoking the gratitude of ancient peoples for the space where they live. Bifrost, the bridge that represents hope and boundaries. Bifrost is a symbol of human aspiration. The Bifrost Bridge is one of Midgard's greatest mysteries. When gazing upon it, humans feel a kind of yearning for the divine, a desire to reach beyond themselves. For many, Bifrost is like a guiding star that, while unattainable, inspires a sense of purpose. In Norse culture, the bridge symbolizes the idea that mortals may be separated from the gods, but can still achieve feats worthy of divine attention. To the gods, Bifrost is the boundary that keeps their realm separate from other worlds, symbolizing the balance between the earthly and the celestial. Guarded by Heimdall, who sees and hears all, Bifrost remains unbreakable until Ragnarok. Heimdall represents the gods' constant watchfulness over humans, observing Midgard's movements and alerting the gods to any significant events among mortals. For humans, Heimdall's presence is a reminder that they are never alone and that even their smallest deeds are noticed by the gods. The spirits and forces of Midgard, a living land. Midgard is not just a physical realm, it is alive and aware. The land Vedr, or nature spirits, are ancient forces that inhabit forests, mountains, and rivers. For humans, these spirits are not merely legends, they are real beings who demand respect and can bring blessings or misfortunes. Before every expedition, battle, or harvest, humans make offerings to these spirits, believing that their blessings may ensure success. The relationship between humans and land Vedr is based on mutual respect. Practices of caring for forests and avoiding disrespecting certain sacred sites reflect the Norse awareness that Midgard is not a realm to be conquered. Humans are, in essence, guests in the natural world. This respect helps mortals avoid natural disasters and also offers protection from external forces like giant attacks and supernatural creatures. Human magic, runes, amulets, and connection with the divine. Magic in Midgard is a spiritual and practical manifestation of humanity's desire to understand and shape destiny. In a world where the unknown is vast and supernatural forces are real, magic is a way to interact with the cosmos, invoking powerful energies with deep reverence. For mortals, magic is not a direct act of altering reality like the gods might do, but rather a symbolic communication with the fabric of the universe. Runes, symbols of ancestral wisdom. Runes, carved into stones, metals, and woods, are more than letters or signs. Each rune carries a mystical concept, a fragment of knowledge and power that, when invoked, communicates intentions to the universe. The origin of runes is sacred. Odin, the supreme god, sacrificed himself on the world tree, Yggdrasil, to uncover the secrets of these sacred marks. For 9 days and nights, he hung there, wounded and hungry, until the runes revealed themselves as a reward for his sacrifice and relentless pursuit of wisdom. For humans, this story holds profound meaning. By using the runes, they not only connect to Odin but also to the effort and pain inherent in learning. Each time a mortal carves a rune, they acknowledge that power comes from knowledge and sacrifice, and that nothing is achieved without a price. This ritual of carving runes is itself a form of prayer and respect, emulating Odin's sacrifice and, through it, accessing divine wisdom. Amulets and objects of power. Beyond runes, many humans carry amulets for protection. These amulets, made from bones, stones, metals, or woods, are chosen for their connection to the earth, sea, or other natural elements that make up Midgard. It is believed that these living materials possess an energy that can repel negative forces and protect their bearer. Often, they are used in battles to invoke courage and strength or in harvest rituals to ensure prosperity. Amulets in Midgard are not trivial objects. They are created with intention and undergo consecration rituals, which may involve sacrifices of small offerings like grains, honey, or even drops of blood. The amulet then becomes a vessel of energy, like a spiritual antenna that attracts good luck and repels forces of destruction. In times of extreme need, mortals place amulets around villages and homes to ward off evil spirits and attract the protection of the land Vedr, the spirits of nature. Shamans and the secret knowledge. In Midgard, shamans, also known as Volvas, are the guardians of hidden knowledge and communication with the spiritual world. They are not merely users of runes, they are interpreters of the signs of the universe. Through dreams, visions, and trance rituals, they access knowledge of the past and the future, acting as mediators between the human world and the supernatural. To do so, shamans perform complex ceremonies that include chanting, dancing, and the use of sacred herbs to reach a heightened state of consciousness. These shamans are respected for their ability to see what is invisible to most and for their skill in interpreting the messages of the runes, stars, and the very spirits of Midgard. In times of uncertainty, it is they who advise kings and warriors, predicting the outcomes of battles and guiding tribes in times of famine or danger. Often, shamans sacrifice years of their lives to serve as channels of the sacred, becoming revered and feared figures, as the knowledge they carry is a powerful weapon, a bridge between the human and the divine. Magic, sacrifice, and fate in Midgard. For humans in Midgard, each magical act is a way of accepting and, at the same time, challenging fate. The Norse belief in Wyrd, the concept of an inescapable fate, permeates the worldview of mortals. But by using runes and amulets, humans show the gods and the universe that, although they accept their fate, they do not do so passively. They act, seek protection, and use what they have at their disposal to shape, even if slightly, the course of their lives. This concept of fate is tied to the Norns, the 3 weaver goddesses who control the fate of mortals and even gods. Every time a mortal carves a rune or consecrates an amulet, it is as if they are trying to influence the thread of their life, acknowledging the web woven by the Norns, but also inserting their own will and honor into the fabric of existence. In summary, human magic in Midgard is a practice steeped in respect, sacrifice, and symbolism. It is not a force to directly alter the cosmos, but a bridge to communicate with the forces that govern it, a way to protect and honor life, knowing that each magical act reflects human nature itself. The relentless search for meaning and connection in a world governed by mysteries greater than any mortal can comprehend. The end of Midgard, the omen of Ragnarok and the promise of renewal. Ragnarok is the prophesied event that marks the destruction of Midgard, when gods and giants will face off, and the Bifrost Bridge will be broken. Ragnarok, however, is not a mere story of destruction, it is a story of transformation. When Midgard is destroyed, there is also the promise of rebirth, a new land that will rise from the ruins of the old. This new land, purified and peaceful, represents hope in the midst of inevitable end. For humans, Ragnarok is not just the end, but a cycle that completes and begins again. Life, then, in Midgard, is lived with one eye on the present and the other on eternity, where every act of courage has the potential to resonate and influence the generations to come after the world's rebirth. Conclusion: Midgard, the path of all humans. Midgard is, ultimately, a mirror of the human condition, a place where mortals face challenges, celebrate their victories, and deal with their weaknesses. They live in harmony with the divine and with nature, seeking balance and honor. The Norse vision of Midgard is both beautiful and dark, reflecting the acceptance of fate and the celebration of life. And, while Bifrost remains connected, mortals will continue to look to the sky, hoping that through courage and sacrifice, perhaps one day they will be remembered among the gods themselves. If you enjoyed this journey through Midgard and the world of Norse mythology, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated on all new videos. Let me know in the comments what you like most and what topics you'd like to see in future videos. Your opinion is super important. And for those who want to bring this mystical energy into their daily lives, follow the band Veil of Nyx on music platforms. With tracks inspired by mythology and epic atmospheres, Veil of Nyx is the perfect soundtrack for those who live and breathe the universe of gods and heroes. Links are in the description. See you there.
In the heartbeat of the winds alone, where the virus stands strong and proud. Vikings relax their shields in hand. The war is calling, we make our stand. The ashes beneath the weight of steel. The sky turns dark, the fate is sealed. On the battlefield, the blood will spill. In Midgard, we fight for the thrill. Heroes chased beneath the weight of steel. The sky turns dark, the fate is sealed. On the battlefield, the blood will spill. In Midgard, we fight for the thrill. Rivers of fire will guide our way. Stars in the sky will make us slay. With fury and glory, we're here to fight. In Midgard, we'll conquer the night. We'll conquer the night. We'll Midgard, we'll conquer the night. We'll Midgard, the battle's begun. Where Vikings never stop till it's done. Berserkers roar, the flames ignite. With every blow, the gods delight. The berserkers charge with rage in their eyes. No fear, no doubt, like thunder they rise. The ground trembles, blood will fly. In Midgard, we don't ask why. Vikings of iron clash in the fray. United in honor, come what may. Shield by shield, axe by axe. In Midgard, we never turn back. Rivers of fire will guide our way. Stars in the sky will make us slay. With fury and glory, we're here to fight. In Midgard, we'll conquer the night. We'll conquer the night. We'll Midgard, we'll conquer the night. We'll Midgard, the battle's begun. Where Vikings never stop till it's done. Berserkers roar, the flames ignite. With every glow, the gods delight. And when the night falls with fear in its grip, the Vikings march forward, no turning, no slip. Berserkers in fury, leading the charge in the battle. We stand at large. Oh, Midgard, the battle's begun. Where Vikings never stop till it's done. Berserkers roar, the flames ignite. With every blow, the gods delight. In Midgard, there's no end, no retreat. We are the children of war. We'll never be beat until the final breath, until the last fall. We raise our weapons, answering the call.